Hello everyone, welcome back to Math Humor. And in today's video, I will be solving some past paper questions of the topic limits of accuracy. This video is for those students appearing in the O-Level exams or other students as well who are just here to have a better understanding of the concepts. So let's begin. The first question is the length of a side of a square is given as d centimeter. Correct to the nearest 10 centimeter. Find an expression in term of d for part A, the upper bound of the perimeter of the square. So the length is d centimeter, which is correct to the nearest 10 centimeter. So the upper bound for d will be d plus 5. This is the upper bound for the length, and we need to calculate the perimeter. So the formula for the perimeter of square is 4L. So we will multiply 4 with the length, and length is d plus 5. So multiplied with 4. So when we will expand this expression, it will become 4d. 4 multiplied by d will be 4d, and then we multiply 4 with 5, so we get 20. 4d plus 20. So this is the upper bound of the perimeter of the square. Now we need to calculate the lower bound of the area of the square. So first I need to find the lower bound of the length, and the lower bound of the length will be d minus 5. And in order to calculate the area, the formula for area is area of square is A equal to L square. So I will need to take the square of this length. So I will take the square of d minus 5 whole square, and then we'll expand this bracket. We will use the second identity, that is d minus 5 whole square. So d minus 5 whole square will be, this is the identity, that is a minus b whole square. It will be equal to d square minus 2ab. So a will be 2 and b will be 5, plus b square, that will be plus 5 square. This is equal to d square minus 10d plus 25. So this will be my answer, d square minus 10d plus 25. Those who doesn't know the identity of a minus b whole square, I'm just gonna write it down here. A minus b whole square is equal to a square minus 2ab plus b square. So this is the formula that I have used to expand the bracket of d minus 5 whole square. So let's move to question number 2. Question number 2 says, in the diagram, angle AOB is equal to 46 degrees correct to the nearest degree, and AOC is equal to 162 degrees correct to the nearest degree. I need to find the lower bound for AOB. So correct, if this is correct to nearest degree, the lower bound for AOB will be, will have to subtract 0.5 from 46. So this will be equal to 46 minus 0.5, that is equal to 45.5 degrees. So this is the lower bound for AOB. Now I need to calculate the lower bound for BOC. So again we will subtract 0.5 from 162 in order to get the lower bound. The lower bound will be 162 minus 0.5, and this will be equal to 161.5. Question number 3 says rectangular garden has length 35 meters and width 25 meters. These distances are measured correct to the nearest meter. Part A says write down the upper bound of the length of the garden. So the upper bound for the length will be, they are correct to the nearest meter. So the upper, to get upper bound, to get the upper bound for BOC, what I will do is I will subtract 0.5. No, we were doing question number 3, sorry. Upper length of, we were calculating the upper length of the garden. So the length of garden is correct to nearest meter. So upper bound will be 35 plus 0.5. So this will be equal to 35.5 centimeter. Okay. Now we will be doing question number part B of this question. Work out the lower bound of the perimeter of the garden. So in order to get the lower bound of the perimeter, we need to have our length and width, and we need to have the lower bound of the length as well as the width. So the lower bound of the length will be 35 minus 0.5. This will be equal to 34.5. A lower bound for the width will be 25 minus 0.5. This is equal to 24.5. Now to get the perimeter, what we need to do is I will apply the formula for perimeter of rectangle. This is equal to 2 into L plus B. 2 into 34.5 plus 24.5. So 34.5 plus 24.5 is 59. And 2 into 59 is 118. So this is the lower bound of the perimeter, 118 meters. Let's move to question number 4. The time taken to run a race is given as 54.3 seconds, correct to the nearest 0.1 of a second. Part A says find the lower bound for the time taken. So in order to get the lower bound for the time, and time has been rounded off to 54 to the nearest 0.1 of a second. In order to get the lower bound, what I will be doing is I will subtract 0.05 from 54.3, and this will give me 54.25. So this is the lower bound correct of the time taken, 54.25. Now part B says the distance run is given as d meters, correct to the nearest meter. Write down an expression in terms of d for the maximum possible average speed in meters per second. So in order to get the maximum value for speed, the formula for speed is distance upon time, and we will get the maximum value if we have the upper bound of distance and the lower bound of time. So the upper bound of distance will be this. The distance is d meter correct to nearest meter. So the upper bound will be d plus 0.5, and we need to get the lower bound of the time, and we already know what's the lower bound, that is 54.25. So the expression becomes in place of distance I will write d plus 0.5 divided with 54.25. So this is the expression for speed to get the maximum possible average speed in meters per second. Let's move to question number 5. Question number 5 says an empty box has a mass of 0.8 kg. Correct to the nearest 0.1 kg. Write down the lower bound for the mass of the empty box. So the mass is 0.8 kg, correct to 0.1. In order to get the lower bound, what I will do is I will subtract 0.05 from 0.8 and I will get 0.75. So this is the lower bound of an empty mass of an empty box. Now part B says the box is filled with books. The total mass of the box and the books is 6 kg, correct to the nearest kilogram. Work out the lower bound for the mass of the books. Okay, so the mass of the box and the books is 6 kgs and correct to the nearest kilogram. We need to get the lower bound for the mass of the books. We need to get the lowest possible value for the mass of the books. We will get the lowest value for the mass of the books if we have the upper bound for the mass of the box. So if the mass of the box will be maximum, then the mass of the books will be minimum. So the upper bound for the first, let's get the upper bound for the mass of the box. So upper bound of box, this will be equal to 0.8 plus 0.05. This is equal to 0.85 kg. And we also need to get the total mass. We need to get the lower bound for the total mass, then we will have the minimum value for the mass of the books. So the lower bound for the total mass will be lower bound of total mass. It will be 6 kgs, correct to nearest kilogram. So we will subtract 0.5 from 6. This is equal to 5.5. Now we can get the lower bound for the mass of the books. So mass of books, let's suppose the mass of books is x plus the mass of box, the upper bound of mass of box, that is 0.85 kg, is equal to the total mass is equal to, we will get the lower bound of the total mass, that is 5.5. So what I will solve this equation now. X will be equal to 5.5 minus 0.85 and this will give me 4.65. .85, sorry, let me calculate it. 5.5 minus 0.85 is 4.65. This is the lower bound for the mass of the books. Now we will move to the question that are at the end of the list. We will start from question number 13. It says rectangle has a length 64 millimeters and width 37 millimeters each. Correct to the nearest millimeter. Write down the lower bound for the length. The lower bound for the length will be 64 minus 0.5. This will be 63.5. The lower bound for the perimeter of the circle. The lower bound, we will get the lower bound for the perimeter of the rectangle if we have the lower bound of the length as well as the lower bound of the width. So we already know the lower bound for the length, that is 63.5. So we will now get the width, lower bound of the width, that will be equal to 37 minus 0.5, that is equal to 36.5. So to get the perimeter, the formula is 2 into L plus B. 2 into 63.5 plus 36.5. So this is equal to 100, and 2 into 100 is equal to 200. So this is the perimeter, 200 millimeters. Question 14 says the size of a television screen is given as 95 centimeter. Correct to the nearest 5 centimeter. Write down the upper bound of the size of the television screen. So if the 97 is correct to nearest 5, then the upper bound will be 95 plus 2.5, that is equal to 97.5 centimeter. This will be the upper bound. Question number 15. A car has a mass of 2400 kg. Correct to the nearest 100 kilograms. A caravan has a mass of 1460 kilograms. Correct to the nearest 10 kilograms. Calculate the lower bound for the total mass of the car and caravan. So in order to get the total mass, lower bound of the total mass, we need to have the lower bound for the mass of car as well as the lower bound for the mass of caravan, and they are rounded off nearest. The mass of car has been rounded off the nearest 100 kilograms. So for a car, the lower bound will be 2400 minus, this is correct to nearest 100 kilograms. So we will have to subtract 50 from it. This will give me 2350. And for a caravan, to get the lower bound, this is correct to nearest 10 kilograms. So I will subtract 5 from it. This will give me 1455. And the total mass will be, now we will add 2350 and 1455. So this will give me 0 plus 5 5, 5 plus 0 10, 4 plus 3 plus 1 8, 2 plus 1 3. This will give me total mass will be 3805 kilograms. Question number 16. The length of path is measured as 62 meters. Correct to the nearest meter. Write down the upper bound for the length of the path. So the length of a path is measured as 62 meters. Correct to the nearest meter. We need to get the upper bound, so we will add 0.5 in it. This is equal to 62.5 meters. The mass of a bag of peanuts is 80 grams. Correct to the nearest 10 grams. Calculate the lower bound for the mass of 5 of these bags of peanuts. So the first we get the lower bound for the mass of peanut. That will be, this is correct to 80 is correct to nearest 10 grams. So I will subtract 5 from it. This gives me 75 grams. Now I need the lower bound for the 5 of these bags. So I will just multiply 5 with 75, and this will give me 375. This is the answer. Question number 17 says Luke's thermometer measures the temperature correct to the nearest degree. At midnight, the thermometer measures the temperature outside as minus 6 degrees Celsius. Find the upper bound of the temperature outside at midnight. So to get the upper bound, we need to get the maximum temperature, right? So in order to get upper bound, and minus 6 has been rounded off the nearest degree, what I will do is I will add 0.5 in minus 6 and I will get minus 5.5. So this is the upper bound, the maximum value of the temperature. Now question number 18. In question number 17, you might make a mistake that you will write minus 6.5 as the upper bound, but that won't be correct, as minus 6.5 is less than minus 6, so that will be your lower bound. Upper bound is the maximum value, so minus 5.5 is greater than minus 6. The attendance at a cricket match is 36,000. Correct to the nearest thousand. Write down the minimum number of people at the cricket match. So if 36,000 has been rounded off to nearest thousand, so I will subtract 500 from 36,000 and I will get 35,500. These are the number of minimum number of people at the cricket match. Now part B says the number of males attending the match is 21,000. Correct to the nearest 500. Find the maximum number of females that could be attending the cricket match. So in order to get the maximum number of females, we will have the maximum number of females when the number of males will be minimum. So I will first calculate the lower bound of the number of males. Lower bound for males. The males are 21,000. Correct one is 500. So I will subtract 250 from 21,000. I will get 2,900 and 20,975. 20,750. And to get the maximum number of females, the crowd should be maximum as well. The total attendance should be maximum. So we will get the upper bound of the attendance. Total attendance. Upper bound of total attendance. This will be equal to the 36,000 has been is correct to nearest thousand, so we will add 500 in 36,000 and I will get 36,500. Now to get the maximum number of females, what I will do is I will subtract the number of males from the total attendance. So from 36,500 we will subtract 20,750 and this will give me 15,750. This will be my answer. So that's it for today's video. I hope you will find this video beneficial for preparing for your O-level exams, or if you want to have a better understanding of the concept. Please do give a like, comment, and share this video with your friends and hit the bell icon as well. I would be great.